Well, the heavy rains that we had the other day here in Vermont have finally ended. And this morning the sun started to come out, but there was a bit of fog that was drifting through the pasture. It reminded me that I needed to look up. I needed to wake up and see the God moments all around, like this little chipmunk hiding underneath the fire bricks that are going to be part of the bake oven outside. Speaking of the bake oven, I don't know if you see it, but look at that stone that looks like a heart. There are so many beautiful God moments all around. I couldn't believe all the birds that were in this bush here. Look closely. Can you count them? And then there was this little frog that blended right in with all of the fall leaves. There really is so much beauty all around if we only were more alert to it and open our eyes. My chickens don't have a problem with seeing the beauty all around them. They noticed right away that there were 2 pumpkins now in their backyard, and they had to come running out to see them. What about you? Are you noticing all of the God moments that are indeed around you? My friends, welcome to Old Stonewall Farm. It's time to open our eyes, look up, and see that grace abounds. Well, I can't think of a better way to spend a fall day than to curl up in a nice shawl and read a good book. And of course, this time of year, it is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. But I am taking time to slow down a bit. I haven't been feeling 100%. My sinuses have been acting up. I think it's allergies with all the wet leaves out there. But I have been dragging all week and just curling up into bed earlier than usual. And I don't know, I think my body is just telling me to slow down and to rest. And that's not really easy for me to do. I'm learning more and more how important it is for us to slow down. So I hope that you find time to slow down as well, to light a candle, to take time just to kick back and immerse yourself in a good book. But there was something on my mind that I wanted to share with you here at Old Stonewall Farm. As many of you know, I go for a run daily. It doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing, whatever the weather is, I go to the trail in the back of the farm, and usually for an hour I'm gone. And I've always looked out. I've always just taken in the scenery all around me, looked around, looked at the sky. But all of a sudden, I became very mindful that lately when I run and then when I take some time to do my prayer walk, my head is down and my shoulders are hunched. And I saw my shadow. I saw my shadow the other day, and it wasn't me. I don't know who it was. Because the shadow that I saw was a head hung low and shoulders just drooping. The shadow that I saw was of somebody very disheartened and downtrodden. And for a second, I looked at that shadow and I thought, oh my goodness, who is that? And when I realized it was me, I said, oh my goodness, who is that? And so I sat on a bench that is part of this trail, and I would like to say that it's not that I'm getting older and I'm slowing down, but I find myself also when I come back from my run, I have been taking time to sit on that bench and to use that time to try to be still and to pray. As I said, I'm go, 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 and it's very hard for me to be still. So I sat on the bench the other day, and I really had to have a heart-to-heart with not just myself, but with God. I had to ask what happened. What happened to that person of faith who trusted so boldly, who trusted. I've been wrestling a lot, almost like Jacob wrestling with the angel. I've been wrestling with God a lot. And I know on one hand, my faith is calling me to step out in faith and to trust, almost like Noah building the ark before even one raindrop came. I feel like I need to show that faith and start building, start going for my dreams, even before I have everything all figured out. A few years ago when I came back to Vermont, and I just saw a retreat center in a way. I saw a way to make my farm available for others to come to, maybe with a labyrinth in the back field, maybe with a gathering little cabin in which we could gather around the table and have prayer. And I forgot about that dream until recently when I was asked to lead a women's retreat, and they asked me, oh, well, we could come to Old Stonewall Farm. And I'm like, well, it's not quite ready to have visitors. But after I had that conversation, I began thinking more and more, I'm like, wow, I haven't thought about this in years. And I can envision people pulling into the pasture and having like a welcoming barn where we can gather around the fireplace. And then we can go out and walk the labyrinth and go up to the hill where my log chapel will be created. And then come down the hill and we can make bread together in the outdoor bake oven that is starting to come along. There is progress being made on it. A little more about that. My stonemason is making it bigger than I expected. But I realized that I'm wrestling a lot with trusting. And when I saw my shadow the other day, I didn't recognize it because that was not me. At least that's not who I want to be. Downtrodden and disheartened and just kind of beat up by the world. There's a lot going on in my life right now that I'll be sharing with you in the weeks to come. And it's not just all of a sudden the dream of having a place to welcome people here at the farm. It's not just that dream being revisited, but there seems to be a lot of changes that are going to be happening and a lot of decisions that I have to make in terms of my vocation. But right now I'm in a period of uncertainty, and I am feeling I am feeling tired of just wondering and praying and still not knowing what the next steps are going to be. And I think when that happens to us, when we don't know what the next steps are going to be, I think that's the very moment that we just need to take that next step. No matter what, we just need to do something and trust that, right or wrong, God will use it and lead us and steer us to where we're supposed to be. So I was on the trail and I noticed my shadow, and then I realized that when I have been running and then walking, my head is always down. Now, that's not a bad thing because I did see 2 snakes the other day. They were out sunning themselves. So I'm glad that I did have my eyes downcast so I could see those snakes right in front of me and I could just leap right over them. But snakes aside, I realized that I never ran on the trail like that. I always had my eyes up. When we are in those moments that we need to face them and embrace them and not act right away to change or do something. You know, I think sometimes when we realize that we're in a funk or we're being dragged down by the world and we're just very tired or even, dare I say, depressed, I think we quickly try to find quick fixes and solutions to make ourselves feel happy and better. And it's not about making ourselves feel happy and better. It's about making ourselves get back in sync with God, get ourselves back to trusting, get ourselves back to that rhythm of life in which we embrace all the joys and we see all the blessings. I think it's about just getting back to that place where your eyes are no longer downcast, but they're looking up at the beauty. And the heart, no matter how heavy it might be, you can still say, thank you, God. When I was sitting on the bench and we had a big windstorm the other day, so a lot of the leaves have been blown down. But when I was sitting on the bench, I noticed one tree had just one branch with one leaf on it. And the leaf was blowing in the wind, and it was just doing a wild dance. It was just hanging on to that limb for dear life. And yet the wind kept blowing it, and it just kept moving around more and more. And I'm waiting for the leaf just to let go and blow. I watched that dance of the leaf. And to me, it was a dance of struggle. It was a dance of fear. It was almost as if that leaf was saying, do you want to live like this, holding on to dear life, to what you know, what you think is secure? And as I watched the leaf dance more and more, I realized that I was holding on to what I knew. I was holding on dearly to the old and to security. I was holding on to what is comfortable. And so when I watched that leaf dancing and just really just struggling to hold on, I kept hoping it would just break free. I kept watching and hoping and praying, just let go. Let go. Trust. Let the spirit wind take you where you're supposed to go. I feel like that leaf holding on to the branch for dear life, not ready to let go. And the more the spirit wind blows, the more the struggle is. So the question I have for all of you today is, where are you looking? Where are your eyes? Are they gazing downward all the time? Are your shoulders drooping? Do you find yourself startled by a shadow that can't possibly be yours? Because when you look at that shadow, you see someone who is just disheartened. God doesn't want us holding on to dear life, to what is comfortable, what is safe, what we know. God wants us to trust, let go, and go where His Spirit leads us. So where are your eyes? If they're downcast, then I urge you to look up and see the beauty all around.
Grand earth has quaked before, moved by the sound of His voice, and seas that are shaken and stirred can be calmed and broken for my regard. And through it all, my eyes are on you. And through it all, it is well. And through it all, my eyes are on you. And it is well with me. And through it all, my eyes are on you. And through it all, it is well. me.